So it records the live, and then I upload this to YouTube.
Got it.
So yeah, and then I connect to Bluetooth on my phone to play the song. So today's song is my brother's song, "Why Stay Strong." So yeah. Let's get you a pair of headphones.
I sent you Reno's and Dr. Nia's picture because they're our guests next week.
Yeah.
Okay. This is super loud. I got something.
We don't have.
You don't have headphones?
Just watching them.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah.
What's wrong with those?
They don't have a wire.
We don't have. We got 50
Did
million
you have
wires
other
in the
headphones?
car.
Yeah, we got two.
We had. Reno and Fo both had headphones.
Oh, that's right.
Dang, I think I got. Oh. You don't like that picture, Grandma?
Yeah, but Uncle has one of
Oh,
him
okay.
and his mom, so you should have one with you and your mom too.
Okay.
On that. Recording to.
Where should he plug in, Menace?
Should go into
Oh yeah. You will go on one with me. So we can hear the same things.
Somebody's plugged
Somebody's
into
getting
one.
kicked off one.
Who's getting kicked
Uncle.
off?
What happened?
You, your daddy. Son.
I got
Sit
moved.
down. Okay. Cool.
Can you turn me down a little?
Are we on 6?
Hold on, I got 2 minutes.
Okay. Check. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That works.
Okay. So.
I love that I picked that up with my ear. What else we got? Oh, yeah.
Okay, now that we're getting started, I'm probably gonna be turned this way. Okay.
We can't
Okay,
say
cool.
why they're here. They're just here. Reno and Nia.
Well, we didn't even have to say they're going to be in studio. They would just say they're going to be our
Our
guests.
guests for next week.
And some people will know, and some people won't.
Episode?
They'll be all over this.
Hold on. 23.
They have meetings with other
No
people, so
way.
people will know. We can say they're in the studio.
The Faika Podcast
Season 5, 23. And thank you for taking time today to talk through your processes with Nainoa.
Yeah. I
Thank
needed.
you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm glad you came. You helped me too.
Okay, I got 50 million things in my bag. 50 million things.
Lady, get it together.
I
Let's
know.
Start. We'll go at 10. Is everyone good? You got water?
Yeah.
Everyone want
Can
water?
you put our
good.
mics, our volume on that sixth,
Yeah.
the sixth bar?
Am I too low? Should I sit up? Because I did
Can you
lower.
help me make sure those are on 6 what?
Am I too low? Should I sit up?
No. I'll fix your camera.
Okay. I want to get my shirt though too.
I
So
leave that one alone. Right?
No, all of them on 6. Yeah. There you go.
I got a old fashioned.
He's so happy. You're like, I have an ice cream,
Uh-huh.
and you don't have none, because I'm on the welfare.
And you don't got none because you're unwell.
I got nothing. All right. We getting started. 10 o'clock.
Yay! I'm so happy.
And teaching
Record. Ready, go live.
Look at my donut.
So then I go live there.
You sit up.
And I go live.
Turn me up. Coming to you from the heart of the Pacific, brought to you by Paulie by Design.
Respected at all times.
Broadcasting from San Francisco, California, the city by the bay.
It's about to go down.
We shine on positive Pacific Islander role models every Sunday.
Party on a Sunday.
From 10 a.m. to noon, it's time for the iconic Faika podcast with your hosts,
Listening to
Naki and Carl.
What's up, Naki?
What's up? Oh my God, we're on time. I love it.
We're on time. It's Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Can't be late on Mother's Day.
No.
Welcome, FICA family, season 5, episode 23. I'm your host, Carl. With me, your lovely host, Naki. Good morning, Naki.
Good morning.
Today, it's check-ins. We're going to talk about J2E, some birthdays, Snacky with Naki. Around 13. It's been around 13 different times. That's 13 people that you've blessed with givings from our listeners.
Right.
Mental Health Awareness Month. And next week's FICA. Our guests, we're going to talk a lot about our guests coming up next week. We've got Goviki Talk. We're going to talk about our last show with the Chukis community and Mr. Earrings himself, Joseph Saya. You're going to get him. Next time we're on, you're going to get them. Your earrings are going to finally win. And Pacific Islander Month, Asian American Pacific Islander Month, as declared by our president, Joseph Biden. And that's our show today. Naki, was good.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mama's Day. Mel is checking in on Facebook from Nevada. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning, Mel.
Thank you. Lance Faletongo. Good morning, Lance. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Gosh, what happened? What happened? Last night, I went to my nephew, Nico Biko. He turned 23. And so with all our kids, we have a dinner, whatever they want for dinner. They get their favorite meal.
What is Nico Biko's favorite meal?
He had veggie lasagna, eggplant parmesan's my favorite, and then this seafood pasta that had clams and scallops.
That's like a healthy favorite meal. Most favorite meals are not really that healthy.
Yeah, he doesn't eat meat, so he's seafood, and he's I don't know what you call it if you just eat seafood.
Is that pescatarian?
Pescatarian. So we went out. I worked yesterday, got off of work, and then went over to my sister-in-law's, Malia, and we had dinner for Nico. And then I crashed out on the couch in the middle of everything.
Was that willfully, or was it just crash out?
I just crashed out. I was at work all day. Then I got to their house like 8 p.m., so it was late. So I lay down on the couch after I ate, and
so is that no alcohol involved? Just crash out on the couch?
Yeah, just crashed out. They had a ping pong tournament. Our family is
Who's the ping pong champion?
Competitive. Lena, my niece Lena.
is a ping pong champion.
She played Noah, her brother. And they had, what do you call that? They had what do you call it, Mena, that dad makes?
Like brackets with
brackets.
A tournament?
There you go. We do the whole bracket thing.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God. Oh my God. So
those are the two most athletic people in the room anyway, right? So it makes sense that they'd be in the finals.
Yeah. So
sibling rivalry there's no trash talking at all during those games, right?
Tons. Because our family is so competitive, and my sister-in-law, Malia, is like, oh my God, if she doesn't win, she's gonna keep playing you until she wins. Like she could lose 99 times, but if she wins on the 100th time, she's happy. Then
Didn't
she can go to sleep.
The cornhole tournament, and that was a big tournament. Like,
oh my
God. There was a
God.
ton of different teams, and the FISOs won it.
The FISOs, yes. The FISOs won it because they just don't die. They multiply. They just don't die. So, yeah, it was Nico's
what kind of
birthday.
Cake does Nico like?
It was an ice cream cake.
Ice cream cake.
Yeah, it was a vanilla ice cream
good.
cake with chocolate frosting. So I didn't have any because I was full of from all the seafood. So I was like, yeah.
You're not a big ice cream.
You
like ice cream, but
I
you're
like ice cream, and lately I've been an ice cream aholic. Rocky Road is my favorite ice cream, and lately I've been coming home and having a cup of ice cream, and then I was like, oh my God. So I'm lactose intolerant, so I torture myself. But I wait till I get home, so I'm close to the bathroom. So
That's my treat every Sunday when I leave Faika. I leave here, I drive to Sacramento, and I go to Baskin Robbins by my house, and I get a scoop of Rocky Road, and I sit in my car and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But that's a Sunday routine. I love ice cream. I'd eat ice cream every day if I could.
Yeah, and that really good place. Carl's from Fort Bragg, so we went to Fort Bragg, and there's that
Cowlicks.
Cowlicks. They have really good ice cream.
So we have one of the triplets in the studio today.
Yes.
Mena is helping train a new producer, my son Nainoa Johnson. So shout out to Nainoa for coming down today.
Yay.
He is a big fan. Actually, no, I don't know if he's a big fan of Cowlicks from the ice cream because he's not a big ice cream guy. He would get
He
sherbet
just gave me a thumbs up.
or a milkshake, and so we would go there with the triplets when we go to Fort Bragg, and we were always like, get a scoop, it's okay. And then I remember Nainoa was getting a milkshake, and I saw how many scoops go into a milkshake, and I'm like, that kid is getting over because
so
there's
smart.
way more way more ice cream put into a milkshake than there is just in a cone for you. But
Right.
ice cream is one of those things that we try to keep out of the house because it will just get eaten. Like I see houses where they just have ice cream in the freezer.
Yeah.
And it just sits there, and whenever somebody wants some, they have some.
Yeah, no.
No, that's gonna get eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep it out of the house.
Yeah, ice cream doesn't last long. And I don't know what it is, but I have an ice cream kick now. So hopefully I'll get over that because between ice cream at home and my coworkers, which I love my coworkers, it's like on Saturday we have a cafe in our building, so it's closed on the weekends and I work on Saturday. So I take my own lunch. I take my coffee. I make coffee. I take, a sandwich and snacks in my bag. And everybody calls me Auntie at work. Auntie, we're going to Starbucks. Do you want something? No, thank you. And then they'll come back from Starbucks with a drink for me. And I'll go, they're so sweet. Auntie, we're going to In-N-Out. You want something from In-N-Out? No, thank you. That's okay. They come back with In-N-Out for me.
Those are mandatory to eat too.
Right. And I can't. I know. I could say, oh, no, thank you, and don't eat it. No. I
agree.
eat everything
You
they
gotta
give
eat
me.
it.
Yeah, they give it. So I think I've gained like 2 pounds since I've been back to work. So,
So them asking you is not really asking you.
Right.
They're more
They're
telling
yes.
you you're going to get
Yes.
coffee. You're going to get
yes.
In-N-Out.
Yeah. Just don't call me. Just, just bring it. But so, yeah, I love my coworkers. They've been family and just feeding me. We're live on Facebook, of course, and I just wanted to shout out Elsa Trujillo Liu. Happy Mother's Day, sister. Teresa Mandrigal. Malo. Ala Lima.
We still owe her Sasa.
Utopia.
He does too much.
So Malo is the executive director for Utopia PDX, who is kicking ass in Oregon with, COVID-19. Pacific Islanders, our numbers are crazy high, and they've been getting, people tested, PIs tested. They've been getting PIs vaccinated. So he is doing a great, amazing job.
We're working closer
Yes.
with Malo than we have in the
I
past,
love
and
it.
I'm learning so much.
Right.
Like just on the calls, the emails,
Right.
all those kind of things.
Amazing.
It's like every time there's communication coming from Malo, I'm like,
Right.
oh, good, I get to learn something.
I love Malo. I love her spirit, and that's my thing. And we really haven't met, during the pandemic, we've met so many amazing people via
Virtually,
Zoom,
yeah.
right. And so I can't wait till we get to travel and the pandemic is over so I can go to Oregon and sasa Malo. So he's
Too
going to get
giving,
a
too
sasa.
giving.
Yes. Ethel Leota Whitaker. Hi, good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Our Yvette Manamea is on, checking in on Facebook.
Yvette.
Good morning, Yvette. Thank you
She's
for tuning
inspiring.
in. I love Yvette. She's doing this pandemic. She's accelerating in everything.
Right.
Going to school, getting healthy. Yvette works with Samoan Community Development Center in San Francisco, and SEDC is doing. All the CBOs, PI CBOs are crazy, amazing. All the work that they're doing during COVID-19,
Right.
during the pandemic. So Everybody, thank you for tuning in. We also, so I just wanted to shout out John Miller, who is on. He says, Happy Mother's Day, Naki. John Miller was the owner of FCC Free Radio, where we start. Is the owner, where we started. We first started at FCC Free Radio, which we love, love, love. We always give John praises because that's where we started. Is our roots, right?
Yeah, and it was really one of those things where we didn't know a thing about a thing, and he had his studios. You know, he was open with information if you wanted to learn it.
Yes.
Like it was up to you whether you wanted to learn what he was teaching,
right?
And take his tips and his information. And if you didn't, you didn't. But you probably didn't have a real good show,
right?
If you didn't listen to some of the things that he was saying. So,
right.
Always a big fan of John. It's one of those things where he's somebody who's doing what, you know, he followed his passion through his career.
Yes.
He followed his passion and he was doing what he wanted to do. He wants to be on the radio, wants to be a broadcast personality, and he does it. Like, shout out to John.
Shout out to John. So good morning, John. So yeah, so after we went left field with that. So after Nico's dinner, and then this week, Snacky with Naki, I started this week, I started to post the flyer again because we're starting up round 13. We're on round 13. So we collect 50 cents from whoever would like to donate. And then at the end of the round, whatever we collect, we are going to go snacky somewhere and tip an essential worker or owner or just somebody part of the food, and because you know I love to eat. So that's why we do that for Snacky with Naki.
I always joke around about how, we're 14 minutes into the show and we're already talking about food, when we actually said, hey, let's just create an entire show about food. We don't even have to wait for the minute count, and I think the minute count's actually 13 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we created a whole show about food, and it feels good. If you've seen any of the Snacky with Naki videos where we're gifting somebody, you know, 700, 1,000, whatever you collected from listeners and viewers, to see that, you know, the gratitude of people that are, you know, it just comes at the right time.
Yeah.
People show it in different ways. Some scream and holler and jump up and down, and other ones are a little bit more reserved, but you can feel it.
Yes.
You can feel it when you're there, definitely. But watching the video, you can feel that kind of emotion and energy that happens.
And it's totally who God leads us to. It's like we find the right person. I mean, everyone needs money, but this last time we collected $750, which was awesome, amazing. And we went to Kaipo Kitchen. They're in South San Francisco. It's a Pacific Islander owned business. They're in Ohana United, which we talked about last week. And so this week I think we've got close to $300. And so we're going to continue the round. I think we're going to go until the end of the week, I believe. I'm not sure. And then whatever we collect, like $300 is a lot to tip somebody. Like if we go sit down and have a cup of coffee and take up a table and the waitress is like, oh, hell no. They're only getting coffee. That's it. They want the check. And then if we get, I don't know, $5 of coffee and tip them $300, that's a lot. Even if it's $100, I mean, anything really that we collect, people are really grateful for. So
I just don't understand from the flip side of this, right? Are people that go eat and then try to find a way to not leave a tip or to leave a crummy tip, like, you know, it's a $50 tab and they're like, well, the food came out late and we got our appetizers, so we're only going to tip $3 or, you know what I mean? Like if you're not going to tip, don't go out and eat. Like that's part of the experience.
Yeah, it's part of the experience. So yeah, I love doing that. It's a really good feeling, the feeling of giving. So that has started up again. We're on round 13. It's amazing that we even got to 13 rounds. And if you haven't seen the videos, go check them out. They're on our social media, Facebook and Instagram, and I'll repost a couple this
on our YouTube
week.
Page, which we should note and thank Mena for fixing our YouTube page. It no longer looks like garbage. It's actually sorted out. It has a banner. It looks like a YouTube channel now.
So thank you, Mena. So Snacky with Naki. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, which I love that there's actually a month for mental health. And as Pacific Islanders, we don't really talk about it that much, what we should, because there's so much trauma that people.
Are they trying to say something?
sleep-
Why is it
sleep
Mental
on it.
Health Awareness Month the same month as Asian Pacific Islander Month?
Yeah, it should be. It really should be. It should be a discussion that we have within our families, you know. So I think that's important. There's a lot of trauma that happens without getting too crazy serious. There's a lot of trauma that as PIs we don't talk about it because of shame, or we don't want to be embarrassed or embarrass our family. So
Do you think that that it's more, I don't know, it's more okay, less taboo to talk about now because we talk about it so much, you and me, or the circles that we run in? Or do you think it's actually becoming more acceptable in the PI community to talk about mental health and trauma and those kind of things? It feels to me like the community is more open to it, but I don't know if just because of the people that we're around, we're
Yeah.
more open. What do you think?
I think it's getting to be more acceptable as we're growing, and we're getting away from not staying quiet, and we're a lot more, the women are a lot more independent in the PI community, or getting independent, because it's a male dominated culture, or it used to be a male, because really the women run shit. So
Yeah,
I
I don't understand that, how like, it is supposedly, but
Yeah,
in
but
the
really,
home, who
yeah.
runs the house?
Right.
It ain't the
So,
guys.
It is not. It definitely is not. But I think as the generations, like I'm first generation here, and my mom, right? My mom was born in Samoa, and my parents came here, not knowing anything, just of like really fa Samoa, like deep in the culture. And so when we got here, we were learning too. We just didn't know that you can go to college, and you can get a scholarship, or you just can go to college.
Right.
Most of the time we're told to get a job, help pay for the bills, and falalavas, the funeral or the wedding, whatever family event is going on, you are told, go get a job.
I think some of the stereotypes helped feed into that, because the first scholarships that Pacific Islanders, particularly Samoan, were aware of were athletic scholarships, right?
Right.
Football scholarships. So not knowing that there were academic scholarships available, there were plenty of both male and female students that weren't athletes,
Right.
that had good grades academically. They were at a scholarly level. They could have gotten academic scholarships.
Yes.
But those weren't visible because, we really celebrate the athletic scholarships.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
football, the volleyball, the softball, those kind of things. And
we're so much more
Right.
than that. We're so much more than that. And I think that's another reason why we started PBD, is because to highlight all the other amazing things that we do, because the media entertainment world really focuses on football players and actors and actors, which is amazing. If you can get in there, which is like a 1 in a million chance, but you can get in, that's amazing. Otherwise,
There's
we
other avenues.
educate. We talk about this at art, artists, I don't know, educators,
Community activists.
Yes. So there you go. I went left field with that again.
We go left field every week.
Yeah. So Mental Health Awareness Month is this month, along with, I say Pacific Islander Month, you say Asian American Pacific Islander Month, but whichever, we celebrate Pacific Islanders every day, just not a month.
Right.
Not just a month is put aside for us. It's every day is put aside for us. So we celebrate every day. We're going to talk about next week's FICA guests, and then Tuesday's FICA guests. So we'll do that in a little bit. How was your week?
Well, you got all the fun stuff. You got all the fun stuff out of the way. I'm going to talk about something not so fun. Actually, it wasn't a bad experience, and people should go through this, especially parents. I went through creating my will and my durable power of attorney and my advanced healthcare directive.
That's a hard conversation to
It
have.
is. Those
It's
are
very
hard conversations to have, but they're conversations that are needed to have if you have people that are relying on you, and if your absence is going to create hardship for them, then these are conversations that should happen.
Yeah.
So we got an attorney. These are things that we should have done a long time ago, really. I mean, the triplets they're going to be 23 this year.
Yeah.
No will, no no real paperwork other than and I'll always say this is I got life insurance. I got a good life insurance policy. It was one of the first things that I did when I got diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
I pretty much knew about cancer, but I I didn't hear it from the doctor yet, right?
Right.
So it was the kind of conversation was these tests strongly indicate that you do have cancer because my PSA was like 400.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I went to see the doctor, and the diagnosis, the words come, and then I came straight home, dug through the paperwork, and I'm like, man, that life insurance policy that I got better be as good as I thought it was when I bought it. And it was one of the happiest moments that I had and most relieved when I read through my life insurance policy, and I was like, my family's going to be okay if something happens to me.
Awesome.
So that was 2015. And then, it took me a little bit, like 6 years to finally do the will.
Thank you very much.
But it's things like you don't want your stuff tied up in probate.
Right.
There are things that will happen to assets automatically if you don't have a will. And it just makes your...
Goes to the state.
Well, it could go to the state, or it could just get tied up and not be available for the people that you want it to be available to quickly. So those are the kind of things like how quickly would Nick and the kids be able to access money if my income is removed? What happens if I'm not able to make a decision? Like and this doesn't have to do with cancer, right? Like I could get hit by a car crossing the street, and all of a sudden I can't think for myself, and I have to have somebody make decisions for me. Of course, right? That's Nicole.
Right.
Well, is it? Because I don't have a piece of paper saying that it is Nicole. It is now. Yeah. And if it's not Nicole after that,
But if she's your wife, isn't that automatic?
Sometimes it's automatic. But if it gets challenged, like, I don't know, somebody challenges another family member.
I'll kick their ass. I will kick their ass.
Besides having Nacky knock on your door,
right?
It just could be a hassle for the family. So everything it's just more of a peace of mind thing. So we did all that crazy paperwork all the way through the week. I think our attorney was a little tired of Nick and I because we would send it back and go, we don't live in this county.
Yeah.
And I know his phone number's wrong. But we looked through every line, of every piece of paper that we had over the week. And then by the end of the week, we had gotten it all done. But highly recommend that. And I know that Sister Linda Massoli always talks about this with Legal Shield. It doesn't really matter who. I would refer you to the Massolis, but do it. Go get, make sure that you're protected. Make sure that if something happens to you, you know how it's going to be laid out. Interesting as they were saying, like, what do you want to have happen to your body if you pass away? And I was like, it doesn't matter to me. That's the family and how they want to mourn. So however y'all want to mourn, you want a big funeral, you want no funeral, you want to throw the ashes over the side of a boat, whatever you guys want to do. And legally, that's not like the attorney was like, well, I mean, I get what you're saying, but you need to be more definitive with it, because if you leave it vague, that's what you're trying to do, is take away the vagueness of it, the ambiguity. So,
then you make them choose.
Right.
Right. And they're already mourning.
So things to think about.
I know. My kids already know what I want is different than what they're going to do, but I want to be cremated because I can't be in the ground. I'm claustrophobic. And I know that I would be dead already, but just in my mind, I'm crazy that way. So
my dad was cremated, and so I can take, literally, I can take him with me.
Yeah.
If I want to go to, my favorite beach that he and I used to spend time on, I can take him to the beach.
Right.
I can, and I don't think I really need, a stone or an urn or ashes to mourn or celebrate somebody who's passed, but sometimes feels good. But I get what you're saying. But to me, it just like whatever y'all want to do. If you want to mourn me, then do how you do. Do what makes sense for you.
Oh no, I have a whole program written out. No, I'm like no, yes, no. It's too. Sometimes, Samoan funerals, they get crazy, like out of hand, and so I just don't want it to be a financial burden on my family after I leave. So I want to make it as light as possible and as easy as possible, and just really chill out. So so that's good you did that.
That's my week. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're doing with Poly by Design. We're really we are growing as a company. And with growing comes, uncertainty, anxiousness, stress.
Yeah.
all those things. But, one of the things that we always talk about here at PBD is if you are always comfortable, you're probably not growing. If you're uncomfortable, it's probably growth.
Oh my God, I'm growing like a mofo this week.
You're
I was
growing,
like,
growing,
oh
growing.
my God. It was like, I'm at work like 12 hours, and then at 6:30, I get off at 6. I'm 6 to 6:30. At 6:30 on the money, my phone rings because that's when people, and I'm on calls until I get home, and then I'm on a call, and I'll go upstairs and until I crash out like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then back up again and I've been taking my laptop to work, my PBD laptop, so that I can sort through stuff and get in conversations with you about what's going on. And so, it's a good tired.
It's a good time.
It's a good tired.
A good tired.
It's
yes,
a good
it
tired.
is. Being exhausted doing things you love.
Yes.
That's a good exhaustion.
Yep. So I love that. We gonna break because Mena told us to.
It's just like a house. A woman runs the house. A woman runs the studio.
Because Mena told us to. So we are going to play a song that's already queued up. Okay, it's already queued up. Stay Strong by Hi Guy Lai. Please follow him on all social media outlets. It's exactly how it sounds, Hi Guy Lai. SoundCloud, Spotify, Instagram. He has a bunch of new songs and videos out. So Stay Strong by Hi Guy Lai. We'll be right back.
Stay strong and know that everything will be alright. Sit back and cool, do what you do. Start to rearrange your mind. I'm tired of facing these temptations, wondering will I ever make it. Sit back and cool, do what you do. Yeah, look. What would you do if you know when your time's up? Cause I probably go crazy, screaming life sucks. A crazy life, I probably couldn't even grind much. Gotta be patient with your cause, give it some time. Look, I'm on a different height, trying to live a different life. The game left, so I'm out here trying to get it right. All these clouds, man, clearing up my eyesight. Fresh air, sunny days, so I know it's alright. And the mood right. On a school night, living on the cool hype. Grown man business, ain't worried about what them fools like. I'm on another chapter, a life filled with laughter. The green money, my family, and yeah, that's what I'm after. I'm chasing dollars, chasing dreams. I done this out of love, putting hate out easily. I do this for my fam, who's never in it for the streets. Tell them haters to relax, cause ain't no need for the beef. No matter what's wrong, you gotta stay strong and know that everything will be alright. Sit back and cool, do what you do. Start to rearrange your mind. I'm tired of facing these temptations, wondering will I ever make it. Sit back and cool, do what you do. I'm tired of waking up seeing my pop stressing. Cause his impression was to see my fam make it. He just wanna see he ain't wrong, it all depends on how you take it. Now when you make it, is you giving that man praise. You gotta humble yourself, my nigga, and get the picture. Spitting the truth without a point of liquor. Is you rolling bolo or who rolling with you? My time saying time will tell. And I'm always on my grind for my family. Shit, I love them for real, nonetheless. Minding my own, it eases the stress. I ain't the best, but with the mic, I'm like a top chef, and it keep going. Finish line ain't in my shine yet. I ain't finna stop here. Punchlines will probably leave you drop quick. I gotta get it, I'm confident, cause my family, they knew I was ready. God's up keeping my game steady, and my whole fam heavy. And them haters feel it, got them niggas feeling a little peanut butter jelly when I spit the realest quotes. And niggas probably hurt, trying to have my whole family flying in the birds. The ignorance around me ain't never being hurt. Smile with your chin up, forever feeling blessed, you heard. No matter what's wrong, you gotta stay strong and know that everything will be alright. Sit back and cool, do what you do. Start to rearrange your mind. I'm tired of facing these temptations, wondering will I ever make it. Sit back and cool, do what you do, and everything will fall in place.
And there you have it.
That's like my favorite song is.
I love this song. That's Stay Strong by Hi Guy Lai.
And
We use that for
there
Snacky
you
with
go.
Nack. That's the background music for Snacky with Nacky because it's, I don't know, it's kind of inspiring and telling people to stay strong
Yeah.
during the pandemic.
everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, everything's going to be all right. I love
Little
that
Bob Marley
song.
lyrics there.
No. Essence of Mana is offering free classes via Zoom. They're reaching out to our PI community, and it doesn't matter where you live. They just have to be willing to commit to the course, which is 12 weeks. Once a week, 12 weeks via Zoom. You don't even have to live in the Bay Area.
Don't got to drive. Don't got to park. Don't got to fight traffic.
And it's free. It's free, free, free. If you want to register for the upcoming class, please hit up Lulu Masina at 415-243-6328 or her email, which is lmasina at healthright360.org. Every Tuesday, they have Tylenol Tuesday, which
Just turned a year old.
just turned a year old. So congratulations to Tylenol Tuesday, their 1 year anniversary. They had asked a lot of their guests, past guests, to come on and celebrate. So of course we were on celebrating Tylenol Tuesday. We were the first to start off their Survivor series. So that was last year, June, I believe, 2020. But they had a lot of amazing people. The Ana Mahina, which is with San Francisco, Tongans Rise Up,
Pastor Sweetie.
Pastor Sweetie Tangata, who is living in peace. He also teaches financial classes to Pacific Islanders.
So important.
That is
So important
huge.
to know
huge.
the rules of the money game. So shout out to Pastor for teaching those classes
Yes.
because we got to
It's
know
needed,
that.
right?
We got to
right.
know that.
And they really don't teach it in school. Like they don't teach.
No.
They don't teach that shit in school. They need to though. Yeah. Who else was on? Oh gosh, Professor Ursula. Siatanga. So she was also the facilitator for Journey to Empowerment, which is another program that Asian American Recovery Services has every first Friday of the month. And so Professor Siatanga had premiered her show on Journey to Empowerment, or the film that she made, which is My Fa'asamoa. And it was really good. I think it was like 8 or 9 minutes. And it was just talking about her definition of her family and their Fa'asamoa, what Fa'asamoa is to them. And it was based around her grandmother who passed away in, she said, 2010. And so it's not funny, but what was interesting is that she said in 2010, when her grandmother had passed away, they were all sitting around and her mom was actually the one that told her, pick up your camera and capture this moment. She's like, I'm trying to mourn here, I'm right now, and her mom said, pick up your camera. Where's your camera? Go get your camera. And she videotaped, really.
It's that's a documentation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Documenting her grandmother, death. And so it was a really good, touching, amazing film. So, if you would like to watch it, just reach out to Professor Siatanga and she will send the link to you. So it was really good. A lot of people on from different, and because of Zoom, you can be anywhere in the world and join Journey to Empowerment. So it was really good. They're on, like I said, every first Friday of the month. And then Essence of Mana is a 12-week program. Go get Lulu.
Yeah, and that's something you and I had talked about, how it's people don't understand sometimes how hard it is to put on a show every week on time, get guests. Sometimes guests cancel the day of.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And to do a show consistently for a year,
Every
that
week.
is an accomplishment.
That is.
Every week. And then you have technical difficulties where
Right.
Facebook doesn't let you go live, so you got to record it and then air
Post
it later.
the next day, like us this week.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that can make it hard for you to run a show. You do a show for an entire year that gets better. So from when they started to where they're at,
Right.
just big shout out to ours
Yes.
and Essence of Mana, that whole team for sticking with it through the pandemic when everybody needed something positive.
Right.
At that time in May, June, July last year, you think back to that time. I remember going for walks in like April and May, and there was nobody out. Like it felt like the end of the world.
I know.
And
It's crazy.
to have shows like, groups like Essence of Mana and put out programming and be able to see that kind of thing every week, and it's regular, it's on
Right.
Tuesdays, you know what I mean? So that's just a amazing thing that they did. Seeing people on their from everybody I saw was like, oh, that's right, Epi Almavai and Fangamisa were on, and then they talked about it was before their drive-in, the airing of Fangongo Samoa, right? But so as we went through the guests and they all spoke, it kind of took me through the last year
Right.
every time, and they jumped around, right? So as one person would come on, like we were on from June of last year, I would think like, oh, what's going on in June? And then Samoan Solutions went, and they were talking about, it was just before we aired Fangongo in that drive-in style premiere, and I was thinking about that night that we were at the church, and so as we went through that, it was just kind of a way to reminisce a crazy year. Like 2020 was just crazy.
Yeah, so big shout out. Speaking of Epi Almavai, big shout out to Epi who's tuned in this morning. Good morning, sister. Happy Mother's Day to Samoan Solutions women. They also are doing Fangongo Samoa. The play is coming out soon. And so they're working on that, and then we'll find out when they're going to air it. So, and possibly have them on again. So there you go.
That's probably going to happen.
If
I was a betting man, I would say that's going to happen.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen. So earlier we were talking, it's Mother's Day.
It is Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day, and we're celebrating. We have a day that we celebrate mothers, which should be every day. But we get one day out of the whole year. And so, just happy Mother's Day to my mama, who is in San Diego area, Chula Vista. And so she's at church right now because she's a Faletua who is actually tuned in to Facebook when she should be paying attention to church.
Happy Mother's Day, Auntie.
Happy Mother's Day. So, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Auntie Dot, who's in Fort Bragg. So we'll have to send her a copy of this.
She was, I was talking to her this week about, she feels better. It's like, like there's, COVID is finally, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. She's been cooped up in her house for the whole time.
Yeah.
Very, with the thought of like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to get anybody sick. More so than her own health.
Right.
And she's 82? Yeah. And so, she's just trying to keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
She's still wearing a mask. She's still being
good,
safe in what she's doing.
Did she get vaccinated?
She did.
Oh,
she
nice.
did
Go, Auntie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, happy Mother's Day, Mom, and I'll be giving her a call on my ride back, on my way back to Baskin Robbins.
Ooh, yeah. There is actually is it Baskin Robbins and something? Oh, Dunkin' Donuts that's opening up like literally around the corner from us. So, and it's actually across the street from Starbucks. So, anyway, I went left field with that. But happy Mother's Day to our mamas who have sacrificed lots of shit to raise us. So there you go.
I used to play on a tournament softball team, and this was the weekend that there were no tournaments because of Mother's Day. And
awesome.
A guy one of the promoters in Stockton decided he was going to buck the trend and have a softball tournament on Mother's Day, and nobody showed up.
Yeah,
like nobody signed up for the tournament. Everybody, all the guys, talk a good game. But when it comes down to it, are you going to sign up for a 2-day tournament on Mother's Day weekend?
Yeah.
And I don't know, he put out the invitation, and
he's crazy.
He's a well-known softball promoter. He puts on tournaments like people, he's one of there's different things in the softball world where certain people put on really good tournaments, and other people, like the umps suck, this guy just doesn't put on good tournaments. He did, but even when he put it out there, everybody's like, bruh, it's Mother's Day. Nobody's playing softball this weekend. That may have changed since then. So there may be softball players listening now in the Bay Area and Sacramento that
are at a tournament.
There are tournaments now, but not back then. Back in the day.
I don't think there's a tournament on here now. We have our Maury checking in on Facebook.
We love our Maury. Up in Federal Way.
Yeah, she's actually in San Francisco today. Yes.
Nice.
She said, checking in from SFO. Happy Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to Nicole, she says. So there you go.
Mother of triplets.
Mother of triplets.
It's like Mother of Dragons from Game
Wow.
of Thrones, but Mother of triplets, and I know is giving me the eye right now. Dragons, did you say?
I know.
But yeah, happy Mother's Day to my beautiful wife, Nicole.
Yay, happy Mother's
Giving the
Day.
idea of what she went through with 3 infants at that time. 24 diapers and 24 bottles a day.
Ooh.
A day. And I know has got both hands up like he's winning. Yeah, and I remember when they were young, I mean, they're little diaper age, we were thinking, because they told us to create a spreadsheet and mark how many milliliters that they drank from the bottle. And we remember thinking, like, I'm going to know what my kid ate. Like, I don't need a sheet to do that. But when you do that, when you have a feeding every 3 hours, you just forget. Like, can't remember if Malia drank that much, or if Ty did, or Nainoa did. So like a weekend, we're like, yeah, we can't keep track of that. By the end of it, we were throwing away clean diapers. Like, it was all 3 kids get changed
all at one
the
time.
changing, and you don't look through to figure out if they all go in the garbage, they all get a new diaper, they all get a new bottle, and that's just the way it was. It was like a conveyor, like a factory line, like a big production.
Assembly line.
Assembly line. Bang, 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 done. But those are, shout out to Nicole, because those were times of no sleep nights.
Yeah.
Like limited sleep over probably a 2 to 3 year period.
Yeah, that's go girl. So, and then because the chances of you having multiples again, yeah, that was a done deal for her.
Yeah. So we thought, well, we got 2 boys and a girl. Maybe we'll try again. Maybe we have a girl. And our team of doctors were like, yeah, you could do that, but the chance of you having multiples is higher the next pregnancy than it was the last one. And we were like, oh, so we could have triplets again? And the doctor's like, or you could have quads, or...
Eesh.
And that was
That's
the end
a
of
lot.
that conversation. That's a wrap. 2
That's a
boys and a
wrap.
girls are good.
That's a wrap. So, yeah. So happy Mother's Day to everyone who's tuned in. Have a great week, because it's Mother's Day for me all week. There you go. This week on a Koviki Talk, episode 25 was the Pacifica narrative. We had the Chukis community. We had Triple J Kaminanga, Juanita, Monessa, Kim Yasu, and Joseph Slayer.
Joseph Slayer. Champion of earrings. Saya.
There you go. So it was a good conversation about the Chukis community. If you didn't know, they're part of the Pacific Islander community. And so we got to talk to Triple J, Juanita, and Joseph is working on a series of videos. So he premiered his video of the Chukis community in Washington State. And so, the work that they're doing with COVID-19 and their language and how they're getting the community vaccinated and, tested for COVID-19. Right now is a big push to get everyone vaccinated just to protect our own individual family. Like Mo and Lay wants to go get their first shot for vaccination. And one, because Mo is an essential worker, so he goes to work every day. And he's had COVID, so he doesn't want to go through that again. And then Lay, because she's starting sports up for her college, and so everyone on the team has gotten vaccinated.
Right.
It's a requirement, actually.
Same with Malia, had to do that.
She got her first shot this week, and she was fine. It was so funny. When I got home, they were stretching their arm and moving it back and forth. They just didn't want it to get stiff or get, bruised up or whatever. I don't know, because I know that I've heard when you get the shots, you're sore for a couple of days or a day. I'm not really sure.
I think it varies. Each person's going to be different, but that's a day of being sore. And then some people get pretty sick. Yeah.
And so they're looking forward to getting the second shot and just being done with it. I am not vaccinated because I had COVID. Like, you're supposed to wait 3 months after you've had COVID to get vaccinated. I'm trying to wait 4 or 5 months just to be safe, because, with my luck, I have the worst luck. So I'm waiting a little bit before I get vaccinated. I'm going to do it. I just need to wait a little bit and be safe.
Yeah, I got to wait because radiation therapy.
Yeah. So, I'm getting Malia to get vaccinated, and Mena. I think we're going to make an appointment for those two so that my whole house is vaccinated. And I'll feel a little better. Just the vaccination doesn't cure COVID-19. It prevents you from getting severe symptoms and possibly dying.
Right.
So if that's going to help my family stay alive and safe, then I'm going to get vaccinated. Yeah. So there you go. That's our big push for getting vaccinated. Pay attention. Do your research. Like if you have to research, you don't get it, you think it came out too fast or you're not sure, tons and tons of tests and retests. And Dr. Pati Ayang was on the...
he's a bench scientist. So
Yes.
he actually worked physically. He worked on the vaccine.
He worked on the vaccine, right. So, and we had him on one of the Koviki talks. And so he explained how the process went. It's not just one test and it's all done. Like they test over and over and over and over. So, and he explains it really well, way better than I do. So go watch that episode where he was on Koviki Talk and Dr. Pati Ayang. So there you go.
A lot of those early Koviki Talk episodes really apply now.
Right.
So that when they were talking about, what does a vaccine look like?
Right.
What are the clinical trials? What does it mean? What are they just skipping steps in the
Right.
clinical trials, or are they able to move faster because of the governmental funding?
Right.
Like those are all questions now that we covered in Koviki Talk in episodes
Early on,
1 through 5.
right. So, yeah, and we're on a break tomorrow because of Mother's Day, so I think I'm going to repost the episode where Dr. Young talks about the clinical trials. I think Dr. Samuel was on there
Right.
too.
Yeah.
So, yay.
The interesting thing in the news now of the intellectual properties where I think President Biden wants to waive some of the intellectual properties of the pharmaceutical companies that have produced a vaccine, so that emerging the countries that are behind in that piece of it are able to create and produce their own vaccine for their countries. So those, and maybe I don't know enough about them, but those are ones that I would be doing my research on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Because like say Pfizer has come up with a vaccine, they have intellectual properties because of the research that they've done that normally they would protect. So now they're talking about letting that information get out so that other companies can produce them. So a company in Nigeria could use that information to produce the vaccine.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Really?
yeah.
They would do that?
Yeah.
I mean, the medical, well, not the medical, but pharmaceutical companies, they usually just want to make money. You know what I mean?
But I think there's, and I don't know for certain, but there was $1 trillion that was put to the pharmaceutical companies with taxpayer money. So to a certain degree, that information is somewhat public,
Right.
in that public funding is what drove some of it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
Makes
know
sense.
exactly how that would work, but I do know they're talking about doing it. But and this is just me thinking about it from my perspective, and I'm not a scientist and I'm not a doctor or anything. But to me, that's like if the Iron Chef gives me the recipe to make a dinner, even if I have the recipe, it's probably not going to come out the same
Right.
as the Iron Chef.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a good thing originally, and then the more I was thinking of it, the more I was just like, I don't know if that's like, are you going to give somebody enough license or enough information to create something that could be safe?
that's
You know what I
true.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
how does that come out? Because if I have the recipe, the same recipe that, like, if I
It's
got
not
Mo's
gonna turn
ribs
out
recipe
right.
and I do it for the first time, it ain't going to taste like Mo's ribs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just, I have the recipe. It doesn't mean that I have the knowledge
Yeah.
to actually create that. So we'll have to see how that works out. It sounds good in theory.
Sounds good in theory, but yeah, just let Pfizer make it. Just let Pfizer make it and send it to you.
That's easy from our standpoint, right? We're in the richest country in the world. Like, we have Pfizer and AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson and Moderna and all. We have these companies here in the United States.
Yeah.
So if you're in a second, third world country, you're going to be way down the line in terms of production of it getting to you. So if you're able to make it faster than you are to wait in the line for the vaccine, that's natural to think, well, let's just skip the line and make it ourselves.
Yeah, that's
But
true. But
it
would
doesn't-
you trust it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you want it?
That's I would be more wary of that than I would the ones that were produced here and went through all the clinical trials the way that we know they did.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would trust that. Now that you said, I was like, oh, that's cool. Let them make it. And then it's exactly that. Like,
Do they
it's
have
like,
the labs
right.
the same? Yeah. So
No, thank you.
discussion point. I know that I saw President Biden earlier this week talk about that, and I was kind of like, yeah. And then the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know enough about it to really say whether it's good or it's bad, but there's definitely a lot of questions in my mind about that.
Yeah. So who knows? Who knows? This week on FICA Tuesday, we have our guest. She contacted us. She's starting a healthy poly movement, Filofani Salosa. She's coming on Tuesday, May 11th at 5 p.m. So we're excited to learn everything. She's in Southern California, and so she started a healthy poly movement where she had lost a lot of weight and then went through some mental health issues and then gained some back. And so now that she's worked on her mental health issues, she's back on her game, and she's wanting to help the community down there get healthy, whether it's mental health or physical. So she's kicking ass. She'll be our guest on Tuesday at 5 p.m. So I'm looking forward to having a really good conversation with her, not only about health, but mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things, like if you watch shows like The Biggest Loser,
Right.
there's so much of the mental aspect that goes into why do I overeat? Why do I eat
I
so
know.
much of this or that? You know what I mean? Like that, there's a mental aspect of that.
Right.
Mental health, definitely. If you're trying to numb yourself, it's going to be drugs,
Yeah.
it's going to be alcohol, it's going to be
Food.
food, it's going to be, something is going to manifest
Definitely.
itself unhealthily. So that's it's good timing.
Well, I
Mackie.
made that flyer. You like my flyer? I made that flyer. Mena introduced me to Canva. Is it Canva? Canva. And so she's been training me on everything. So I'm looking forward to having a good conversation with her and getting to know her. A lot of our guests, we just meet while we have them on. So, and it's kind of funny because during Zoom or during our interviews, like they'll come into the room, or even if they come into the studio, we try not to talk to them.
Dead silence.
Seems kind of rude. It seems kind of rude because I'm like, dang, I feel bad. I'm not talking to them, but I don't want to talk to you
Right.
until the mics go on, because like we said, we always have great conversations with our guests before the mic comes on.
We used to have great
We don't do that
conversations.
anymore.
We have no conversation with them now.
We don't even want to know how you doing.
We used to make them wait out in the when we were at John Miller's station, FCC Free Radio. We used to make them wait out in the waiting room, and we'd close the door to the studio because we knew if they came in, we're going to end up talking about how was the traffic coming in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the bridge was. And then we have these great conversations before, and then you turn on the mics and they go,
They got nothing.
we already
They
talked
got
about that.
nothing. Yeah, we already talked about that. They can't
Right.
We can't ask them the same question and have them answer.
The story's going to come out with
different.
more emotion the first time that, it's kind of like repeating what I just said 20
Right.
minutes ago. That
Right.
doesn't sound very exciting.
Yeah. So, so when people come into, like this past Tuesday, we had Dr. Sabashni Raj, who was in school with our Leah Poasa, and she's just, I love talking to her. They're at UC Davis, and so she is born in Fiji, and she came here to do her studies, and so go check out that interview.
What a great story that is.
It's
is one of those things
amazing
where she
stories.
said, as a small child, she had a dream.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna put any more of that out there because it's much better for her to tell it than for me. But when you hear the story of what she thought of when she was a small child in Fiji,
right,
and to where she is today as
It's
a doctor. Like that's a story you got to listen to.
Yeah. So go check that out. And then we have Tuesday FICA. And then next Sunday, a week from today, we have Dr. Reno Samoa and Dr. Nia Aitaoto, who will be our guests. How about that?
How about that?
How awesome is that?
We're gonna raise the average IQ in the room about 100 points.
Yeah, I'll be quiet that day.
Naki and I'll just sit here and stare at each other while they talk.
Yeah, so Dr. Samoa and Dr. Nia Aitaoto, who are freaking badass. You can't
say how much we appreciate them.
Yeah, we appreciate.
We're gonna try next week. We're gonna try, but it won't do it justice.
Yeah, and actually, Reno was the one that came up with the idea of Koviki Talk before it was even called Koviki Talk, and before we got funding for Koviki Talk. He was like, hey, I got this idea. I wanted to throw this past you guys. If we start a conversation, like have a show and talk about COVID and how it affects the Pacific Islanders, let's get a doctor, someone in the medical,
and a
Pacific Islander that works in the medical field during COVID, a Pacific Islander pastor who we had, Dr. PK Thompson, who was on a couple of the show. And then let's talk about COVID. And we just called it, I don't know what we called it, PIs talking about COVID or something like that.
Was it Dr. Fuima Ono?
Dr. Fuima Ono?
Love your neighbor looks like, what does love your neighbor look like in a pandemic?
Right.
It looks like wearing your mask.
Exactly.
And that was on a show with a doctor and a pastor. And the doctor's the one that came up with that.
I know. So it was awesome. So Reno came up with that idea, and we had like maybe four shows before Dr. Niai also said, let's try to make this, get more involved and get. So we got Pecopsy to sponsor Koviki Talk. Nia came up with the name in like, I don't know, 2 minutes, where they gave us 2 weeks to come up with the name, and we got nothing.
We had 2 weeks.
Yeah, we got
Naki
nothing.
and I literally drove from the Bay Area back to Sacramento like 3 or 4 times, and we talked the whole way. And okay, shout out to the Pacific Islander community-based organizations, because everything we came up with, what about Fatasi? That sounds cool. Yeah, taken. What about this? Taken. What about, so a lot of the names we would think like, what does imagine? What does, Illuminati? After we searched through like, what is that? What's the word that we came up with, like Illuminati? That is such a powerful program
gift,
already.
Educational gift. That Samoan Solutions has their scholarship every year.
Right.
So go check them out. But yeah, we came up with all kinds of names that were already taken. And Nia was like on our call for like 2 minutes, and she was like, Koviki Talk. We're like, okay, Koviki Talk. And so,
good to me.
Yeah, it's been amazing working with them. Those two are a big advocates for Pacific Islander education, Pacific Islanders getting educated about COVID-19 and the testing and vaccine, and making sure people get the information that they need. So they will be our guests next Sunday here on the FICA broadcast at 10 a.m. Do not miss them, because Nia is like a walking encyclopedia. And Dr. Samuel, yes,
but she is on a different energy level than everybody else.
Crazy amazing. Those two give their time, and just because they just give because they want to see our community move forward. So there you go.
Looking forward to that one.
I'm looking forward to talking to them.
I'm looking forward
too.
to all of our guests.
Yes.
Particularly these two, because we've worked closely with them, and we see the help that they're giving to the community.
Right. So tune in next Sunday to the FICA broadcast as we have Dr. Samoa and Dr. Aitaoto on, which is freaking amazing. So there you go.
Look at Naki. Naki's the one that books our guests on the show, and she's getting doctors and students. And
I know.
Good job, Naki.
It doesn't help that Reno's my nephew. I mean, that helps a little that we talk every day and we catch up, and we FICA.
I had people ask, they're like, well, how do you manage to get so much time with Dr. Samoa? And I was like, well, we work in the community, and we're trying to elevate the standard of life, the Pacific Islanders, all that. And, he's Naki's nephew too.
Yeah.
So that helps.
I know. So there you go. His mom and Mo are sister cousin, brother cousin. So they grew up together. And so, yeah. And Reno's a really, really smart, like not just smart, but smart.
Yeah.
he's a smart guy.
Wicked smart.
So, wicked smart. So, and Nia too. So there you go. That is our guests for next Sunday, our guests for Tuesday. Please go check out all our videos on YouTube. Go check out our YouTube video. Like, have you subscribed yet? Why? Right? Go sasa you. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff coming up for PBD that
Go give it a like, subscribe, and leave a comment below.
Yes, there you go. Go follow us on all our social media outlets, but go subscribe to our YouTube channel because Mena did a lot of hard work on it, and so we appreciate it, and it looks really, really good. So go check it out. I think that's a wrap for us. Happy Mother's Day again to my mama and Auntie Dot and all of you that are celebrating this morning with your mothers. A lot of you are in church this morning, so pray for us because we need it. Carl needs it, especially Carl. He needs it. So there you go. Our Leah Poasa, who's checking in from Oregon. She's with her mama and her fiance, Dr. Ty Fatleava. So Ty needs to come in another time. And Leah she is part of the PBD team. And so she is in Oregon checking in with her mama. We're going to talk to her in about an hour and a half. So there you go. So yeah, happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Mena. Thank you, Nainoa, for the amazing work that our producers are doing to make us look special. Make us look first. There you go.
Special.
Come back to Faika with us.
Love you all.
To rearrange your mind. I'm tired of facing these temptations, wondering will I ever make it? Sit back and cool, do what you do. Yeah, look, what would you do if you know when your time's up? Cause I probably go crazy, screaming life sucks. A crazy life, I probably couldn't even grind much. Gotta be patient with your cause, give it some time. Look, I'm on a different height, trying to live a different life. The game left, so I'm out here trying to get it right. All these clouds, man, clearing up my eyesight. Fresh air, sunny days, so I know it's alright. And the mood right. On a school night, living on the cool hype. Grown man business, ain't worried about what them fools like. I'm on another chapter, a life filled with laughter. The green money, my family, and yeah, that's what I'm after. I'm chasing dollars, chasing dreams. I've done this out of love, putting hate out easily. I do this for my fam who's never in it for the streets. Tell them haters to relax, cause ain't no need for the beef. No matter what's wrong, you gotta stay strong and know that everything will be alright. Sit back and cool, do what you do. Start to rearrange your mind. I'm tired of facing these temptations, wondering will I ever make it?